It never ceases to amaze me how dumb WWE truly is. It doesn't. This week was supposed to be one of the most important weeks in WWE history. One of the most important weeks in WWE history. WWE Premiere Week. There was so many eyes on WWE. So many eyes. So many people watching from so many different places. No matter if you're a fan of pro wrestling or sports in general, there was a lot of eyes on WWE. And with the debut of AEW on television with AEW Dynamite, everyone was looking at how WWE would respond, especially with how AEW defeated NXT in the ratings on Wednesday. Even though I thought NXT was a better show, still AEW Dynamite wins week one of the Wednesday Night Wars with NXT. And everyone looked, especially from WWE's eyes, SmackDown on Friday. This was the big event. This was the event we were all looking forward to because we wanted to see what WWE would have planned. We knew that Fox was going to be looking for a more sports type product with WWE moving the Fox. We knew that, and in terms of some of the stuff we saw tonight, they delivered in some ways. I'm talking about with the new set, the stage, the atmosphere. The way the show was set up, it felt like a sports production. It felt like an actual sports TV show, with the pre-show. And, we're going to see much more with the WWE Backstage show with CM Punk and Renee Young in the next couple of weeks. In terms of those aspects, yes. And I give credit to Fox. But under everything else, this felt like a WWE production. This felt like Vince McMahon. This had Vince McMahon written all over it. All right, and what I mean by that is the garbage that WWE has suffered in the last 3 years is still there, and it seems with Vince running Fox, with Vince running SmackDown on Fox, in terms of the creative process, it seems like that garbage is still going to be there, and nothing else that was shown no more than what we saw in the main event tonight. I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck about right now, at least right now, about CAIN Velasquez returning to face Brock Lesnar. I really don't care right now. I don't. I could care less. Right? I know the history between the two. I've seen the fight. CAIN Velasquez was the one that defeated Brock Lesnar all those years ago in the UFC. And yes, I feel like they can tell a really good story there with Lesnar and CAIN Velasquez. And then, you have Mysterio there as well, especially with what Lesnar did to Mysterio and Dominic. I understand all that. But honestly, I don't care. SmackDown tonight was supposed to be better than Hell in a Cell this Sunday. SmackDown was supposed to be Hell in a Cell, basically, if you look at it. SmackDown was supposed to be Hell in a Cell. This was supposed to be your pay-per-view tonight. And it wasn't. All right? Don't let all of, the amazing set. The set of SmackDown looks amazing. It looks amazing. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. All right? I love the way the new set looks. All right? The stage looks incredible. I love the atmosphere. The LA crowd tonight, that was one of the best crowds we've seen in WWE all year. It felt like a big event because it was a big event. But under all that, if you just look at the show, it was no better than a usual Monday Night Raw. This show was garbage. It had a couple highs, but if you look at the show as a whole, especially that main event, Brock Lesnar defeating Kofi Kingston in less than 10 seconds, absolute garbage. WWE on Fox posted the clip of Lesnar beating Kofi Kingston to their Twitter page. Legit, the clip's only 10 seconds. The bell rang. Kofi ran at Lesnar. Lesnar hit him with an F5. That was it. That has to be one of, if not the fastest title match we've ever seen. It's definitely up there. And it's absolute garbage. I don't care that Lesnar won. All right, we all predicted, we all knew Lesnar was going to win this match unless there was some kind of interference or fuck finish. We all knew Lesnar was going to win this match. It's the fact that WWE buried Kofi Kingston the way they did. There's no way Kofi can ever get back from this. There's no way. There's no way. And the way Kofi's been advertised for SmackDown, you advertise Kofi Kingston to be one of the faces of SmackDown. If you look at the intro tonight, you look at all the commercials, all the teases, all the promos, all that. Kofi Kingston, Roman Reigns, and Becky Lynch. It's one of the reasons why I'm so confident Sasha Banks will win this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. Because, those three have been heavily advertised to be the faces of SmackDown going forward. But how are people supposed to take Kofi Kingston seriously after what happened tonight? The guy got beat in under 10 seconds. It makes everything that Kofi Kingston did just all this year, from back at the Elimination Chamber, when everyone got behind him, when everybody was, pulling for this Kofi miracle. Everybody wanted to see Kofi become WWE champion after him being in WWE for 11 years and never getting that WWE championship opportunity. We wanted to see Kofi Kingston go up against Daniel Bryan. And they told that fantastic story all the way up to WrestleMania with Kofi Kingston in what is, in my opinion, the moment of the year. Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. And, in my opinion, he had a really good championship run. He was WWE champion from April to October. He's been WWE champion for the last 6 months. He's been a fighting champion. He's given great promos, given on great matches. He's defended the title against all challengers. Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton. Who knows who else I'm missing? Dolph Ziggler. He's defended the title against everybody. He's been a fighting champion, and he's been a great WWE champion. Yes, I don't agree with the whole pancake throwing. I don't agree, sometimes I wish Kofi was a little more serious. But we were all expecting Kofi Kingston and Brock to actually have a match tonight. All right? And then I kept looking at the clock, and it was around 9:50, when Lesnar and Kofi finally made their entrance. I was like, no way, this match is really going to be less than 10 minutes? I honestly thought, wait a minute. I thought, hey, you built this up as a big fight, right? You built this up as a huge fight. And I thought this was good. We're actually going to see Lesnar wrestle. I thought we were actually going to see a serious Lesnar. Because we know Kofi's one of the best performers on the main roster. And we know when Lesnar's serious, he can put on a good match with anybody. But the way I saw it was like, all right, maybe we get 5-6 minutes of high action, and then we see Mysterio come out or something like that, and then we get some kind of fuck fitteds, and then maybe we see Lesnar and Kofi at a future pay-per-view. No, that's not what they decide. They decide to absolutely bury Kofi Kingston in under 10 seconds. It was an absolute joke. Like I said, I don't care that Lesnar won the WWE Championship. All right? And I hate part-time Brock. I hate that for the most part we're not going to see Brock on television that much. Because we know how Kofi is. I mean, not how Kofi. We know how Brock is. We know that he only shows up a couple times a month. And, for the most part, we might not even see the WWE Championship that often on Fox. And hopefully, Fox can maybe convince Brock, or Fox can convince WWE to make Brock show up more often. But we don't know how Brock and title reigns go. He's only going to show up when he wants to show up. He's not going to be there every single week. Maybe the whole change on Fox, but I'm willing to bet it won't. It's Brock Lesnar. We know how Lesnar operates. He does what he wants, when he wants. No one can stop him. But I'm more mad at the fact of how they treated Kofi Kingston. It made Kofi's championship reign look like a legit joke. Because Kofi had a good run with the title. And I don't care about CAIN VELASQUEZ because all I can think about is how they treated Kofi Kingston. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke. It's a slap in the face to Kofi Kingston. It's a slap in the face to all of Kofi Kingston's fans. It's a slap in the face to anybody that supported Kofi Kingston as WWE Champion. And now what? You have Kofi advertised as one of the stars of SmackDown going forward. But where does he go from here? how does Kofi bounce back? Because the way I see it, Kofi can't bounce back from this. I don't want to see a rematch between Brock and Kofi. Why would I? Kofi got absolutely buried. You know, WWE could easily do a rematch between Kofi and Brock if they want to. And I'm willing to bet they probably will somewhere down the line. Because the way I see it, Brock ain't losing that WWE Championship anytime soon. I don't know how CAIN VELASQUEZ fits into the whole picture. You know, because we don't know how CAIN VELASQUEZ is going to be in the ring. We know CAIN VELASQUEZ, yes, he can box. We saw him in UFC. We know what he's capable of. But can he add, so what, how is that going to work into WWE? WWE is different than UFC. You know, and, you know, seeing Lesnar versus CAIN VELASQUEZ, yes, there's a story there. But, how patient will WWE be telling the story? How often will we see CAIN VELASQUEZ? Is he going to be there every single week? Is he going to be part-time just like Brock Lesnar? You know, when are they going to do this match? Because Hell in a Cell is 2 days away. You're not going to see Lesnar at Hell in a Cell. You're not going to see the WWE Championship on the Hell in a Cell card at all. And then you have Survivor Series. Not only that, then you have Crown Jewel. So, you know, most likely at Survivor Series, I'm hoping we get Lesnar versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt, who should win the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins, but still, it's absolute garbage. It's absolute garbage what we saw tonight. And, you know, yes, Lesnar being the WWE Champion is the best thing for Fox going forward, you know, even though there are negatives to it, but still, the fact that you treat Kofi Kingston in the way that you did is an absolute joke. You can't do that. That's not right what they did tonight. I don't care what anybody says. The way they treated Kofi Kingston, we all knew Kofi was not going to win this match. But still, the fact that they had him lose in that matter, I don't think no one saw that outcome. Lesnar beating Kofi in less than 10 seconds. That is an absolute joke. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says. That's a joke. That's a legit joke. There's no way Kofi can bounce back from this. No way. I don't know what they do. Honestly, it would honestly just be better that you move Kofi to Raw. And I don't think they're going to do that because I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sitting here thinking about it, man. It just pisses me off. It just really pisses me off what we saw tonight. Really pisses me off. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't. Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G133. I'm back here tonight with your SmackDown review. SmackDown on Fox debut was tonight, and you know, this is not the way I usually do my reviews. I usually do a live stream face cam. You guys know the way. For my longtime viewers, you guys know usually how I do that. But this is the first time I've done, you know, reviews for WWE on Friday nights. So it's going to be a little bit different, you know, at least for now, alright? Some nights we might do the face cam live stream, but for now, this is the way we're going to do exclusively our SmackDown reviews, alright? Just want to let you guys know. But thank you guys for joining me here for the SmackDown Fox review. If you guys saw, basically that was my thoughts on what happened tonight. And still, I'm sitting here in shock. You know, Kofi Kingston got squashed tonight. You know, there was no need for them to do what they did tonight. No need. Like I said, I have no problem with Lesnar being WWE champion. No problem at all. Alright? You know, the fact that Kofi got a 6-month reign was amazing, and I'm happy. Very happy. You know, I never thought we would see Kofi Kingston as WWE champion. I was a little kid when he first won when I was a little kid back when he was fighting, you know, Randy Orton in Madison Square Garden in 2009. You know, and I wanted to see Kofi win the WWE Championship for so many years, and the fact that I got to see that, you know, I was a little kid when he first started in WWE. Now I'm a full-grown adult, and I'm happy he got a 6-month reign. He was a great WWE champion, you know, but there was no need for WWE to do Kofi like they did tonight. No need at all. You know, you had Kofi get buried in five seconds. You know, we know how great Brock Lesnar is. We know he's a beast. But there is no reason for Lesnar to have to squash Kofi the way he did. You know, if they had at least gave Kofi, a couple minutes, that's different. But it was 10 seconds. It makes Kofi's title reign look like a joke almost. It's like Kofi's not that weak. We saw Kofi take everything from Daniel Bryan and all these other people. We saw Kofi Kingston persevere through so much punishment just to be put down by one F5. But enough on Kofi Kingston. We've already spent, close to 20 minutes just talking about that. But we're going to talk about SmackDown, the rest of SmackDown tonight. And as I said, this wasn't really, underneath all the sports and the set and everything like that. This was a disappointing show. This was supposed to be your Hell in a Cell. This was supposed to be a pay-per-view level show. This was supposed to show the entire wrestling world, including AEW, that, hey, you guys are not gonna be the number one dog in the pro wrestling world. WWE still is. That's what SmackDown tonight was supposed to be about, but it wasn't. It was a disappointing show. There was a couple highs, and I'll talk about those. But overall, this was a disappointing show. Very, very disappointing. It'll get a good rating, of course, because it's SmackDown's debut. The Rock was there, but watch, if this is the way WWE plans, and I'm hoping it's not. I'm not gonna really judge, Raw and SmackDown until after the draft is over and we see what the rosters look like. All right, but I'm hoping WWE gets their act together, because AEW, you already saw, the AEW is off to a flying start. Flying start, you know. But we'll see what the rest of the week looks like. We have Hell in a Cell on Sunday. Unfortunately, I'm most likely to have my Hell in a Cell preview and predictions some like Saturday night. Hopefully, I'll have that for you guys. I was hoping to get them to you guys today, but it was a busy day. But yes, Sunday night we have Hell in a Cell live stream and / reactions, and we'll also have the review right after Hell in a Cell goes off the air. But we're gonna get into SmackDown, man. But like I said, SmackDown, the way it was presented, it felt different. I liked there was a couple new camera angles they tried. I enjoyed those, but I really enjoyed the set. The set was easily, the part that got everyone's attention. Excuse me. You know, an electric set. The pyro looked so good. The graphics, blend very well, and the way the show was just presented it felt like a big deal. It felt like a big deal. It felt like a sports presentation. You had Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary, and we didn't see Renee Young. The way Renee Young was being classified as a special contributor, giving special analysis. I don't know what that means. I know that Renee Young, she does the pre-show, and she's gonna be hosting backstage with CM Punk and Booker T, but I really don't know, if Renee Young's gonna be that third person on commentary. Honestly, I'm fine with it just being Michael Cole and Corey Graves. I don't think you need a third commentator, but we'll see, how they go along. Things aren't probably going to be set in stone until after the draft, after the rosters are all set, and that's when we'll see what WWE really made of. All right, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna really judge WWE. I'm not gonna really judge Raw and SmackDown until after the draft is over. Once we know what these shows are gonna look like going into from now into WrestleMania season. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Tonight was supposed to be a big deal, and I feel like WWE disappointed us on many different levels, especially with what happened in the main event, but we already talked about that. But getting to the show, the show started off with Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. They came out to welcome everybody. WWE had a brand new intro for Fox, and I love the way the intro looked. Like I said, Fox and WWE, they really did a good job of presenting the show in a sports type fashion. And I'm talking about just based off presentation alone. The graphics, the intro, the set, they did a really good job on that. It felt like, this was a big show and that many eyes were on it. And we started off the show with Becky Lynch, the man. I love the thing about what I love about Becky Lynch, especially her entrance. I just love the smoke. It goes so good with her entrance, man. It's great that Becky Lynch has smoke back with her entrance. She comes out and she thanks the fans. She welcomes everybody to SmackDown Fox. She thanks the fans for being behind her because he said the man would never have become so big if it wasn't for the fans and their support and them backing her. You know, then we see King Corbin come out, and I'm gonna speed through the show because honestly, I'm not really in the mood after that main event. But we see King Corbin come out, and basically he says, "Becky, you're not the man." Basically, he puts down LA. Nothing new from King Corbin, and I don't like the way they've been booking Baron Corbin. He really impressed a lot of us during the King of the Ring tournament, and he made us all think he was deserving of King of the Ring. But they really haven't done anything with him since he won the King of the Ring. They really haven't. They did the rematch with Chad Gable a couple weeks ago, but there seems like there's no real direction for Baron Corbin. Winning King of the Ring is supposed to, shoot someone up into, the main event scene, make them a big name. We should see basically Baron Corbin being in either the Universal or the WWE Championship picture, but really right now he's just being used more for just the King gimmick. He's just coming out in random segments talking about how he's the King, but honestly, they're making Baron Corbin as the King of the Ring look unimportant in my eyes, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's not what the King of the Ring tournament is supposed to do. And then The Rock actually kind of buried the King of the Ring tournament tonight. I don't know if you guys caught that, but speaking of The Rock came out to an electric entrance. I love the way these entrances look on SmackDown's new set. I just love the way they look, man. The Rock's electric beams, his Titantron looked absolutely amazing. The Rock did his classic long entrance. He goes around like the whole arena. But man, seeing The Rock back in the WWE, man, I miss him. I love The Rock. I wish we'd see him a little more often. Probably after tonight, we won't see The Rock appear in the WWE ring for, a couple more years. I don't. There's been rumors saying that they might do Randy Orton versus The Rock at WrestleMania or Roman Reigns versus The Rock. I don't see that just because we know Dwayne has a super busy movie schedule, and most of his movie deals prevent him from wrestling. So I don't know, but either way, man, seeing Dane Johnson, the guy looks fantastic like usual, and The Rock did his usual stick. We see him and Becky Lynch basically team up. There was a couple very very funny lines Rock had. Rock did his classic catchphrases and everything, and he entertained and electrified the people like he always does. But the things that Rock basically said that was most exciting were he called um, Baron Corbin a guy from Burger King, and the crowd chanted Burger King. He looked like a dressed up Burger King, something like that. And I laughed my ass off. He also called Baron Corbin a 34-year-old virgin who's at Comic Con. You guys don't know New York Comic Con's going on this weekend, um, and a lot of people in pop culture have their eyes on that. It's a huge event in the pop culture world, and The Rock just calling Baron Corbin a 30-year-old virgin at Comic Con. That might get some people in the pop culture community a little bit pissed off. But it was hilarious, alright, all in good fun. There was also a part where The Rock mentioned how Baron Corbin does have no balls, and how Becky Lynch, the man, has bigger balls than him. And Becky Lynch says yes. Becky Lynch picks up the mic and says, even if I did have testicles, they would be bigger than Corbin's. All right. So that was a hilarious line by Becky. And then we see The Rock and Becky Lynch. They team up, lay the smack down on Baron Corbin, and basically The Rock did his usual stuff. He did his people's elbow. He did the rock bottom. Him and Becky Lynch, they hug, fist bump each other, and that was it. That was it. This was I enjoyed this segment. One of the very few things I enjoyed about this show. I enjoyed this segment for what it was. All right. Seeing Baron Corbin get buried like that in a way, I'm like, first of all, Corbin is king of the ring. He should be treated better. You know, Rock did mention during his promo that the king of the ring really didn't matter, and I didn't like that because it made the king of the ring makes the king of the ring look unimportant. You know, that's honestly the truth. It makes the king of the ring look unimportant, and I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, I know The Rock's having all good fun in that, but still, the way Corbin's being booked right now, I don't like it. It's like he's going right back to the way he was booked before. It's like the King of the Ring title on him doesn't even matter, you know. But I don't know. I enjoyed the second for what it was. Very funny. It was great to see The Rock, but do not be misunderstood. All right, The Rock being there tonight, you know, yes, it made the show feel much more important since it was such a big night. All right, but when Rock's not there next week, when he's not there after the draft, when he's not there, in the weeks coming, as we enter, WrestleMania season, as he's not there, you know, and the ratings when WWE struggles to put on good shows, if WWE is not putting on good shows each week after The Rock is not there, you're gonna see, and SmackDown's not. I mean, Fox is not gonna be happy. Fox expects WWE to do big things. All right, Fox is putting a ton of money. This is a $1 billion deal between WWE and Fox. All right, for SmackDown to be on Fox on Friday nights. You know, and they're not gonna be able. WWE's not gonna be able to go into their cookie jar, get a Rock, get a Stone Cold Steve Austin, get an Undertaker there every week. Just to get cheap ratings. That's not gonna do the job. The Rock seeing him there tonight was great and all, but still, don't let The Rock being there, blind you to the fact that WWE has major issues here. Major issues that we'll talk about as we go through the rest of the show. But great to see The Rock tonight. Becky Lynch stayed out there, and that would lead into our first match of tonight, which we're going to talk about right now. So next up, we had Sasha Banks and Bayley going up against Charlotte and Becky Lynch in tag team action. This was basically a rematch of the fantastic tag team match they had in Madison Square Garden a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. We know that we're getting Sasha and Becky inside Hell in a Cell on Sunday. In my opinion, that should be the main event of Hell in a Cell. Everyone's talking about it. We know how good Sasha and Becky are. Sasha's the best in the world, And it was going to be very interesting to see how they would book this match because there's no way you're going to have Sasha look weak going into Hell in a Cell. The same goes for Becky. You need both looking strong. And, I think they did a good job. They did a good job of that in this match, right? Sasha and Becky didn't have much interaction, but when they did, there was a point in the match when Sasha and Becky faced off in the middle of the ring. The Staples Center became basically it was one of the loudest moments of the night when Sasha and Becky stared each other down and they started going at it. The Staples crowd erupted to their feet, and that doesn't tell you how much people care about Sasha Banks and Becky this Sunday, man. They absolutely killed it. They put on an absolute show at Clash of Champions. I think Sasha versus Becky inside Hell in a Cell, I think that has the chance to be the match of the year for the women's division. I don't think that, anything that they puts on can be better than what Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano did at NXT TakeOver in New York, but in terms of the main roster, in terms of the women's division, I think Sasha and Becky could be match of the year. All right, and I'm hoping it is. I think it's much more deserving of the main event than Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. And when you look at the Hell in a Cell card, there's not a lot of matches on this card. I'm hoping that means they're going to be giving Sasha and Becky and some of these other matches a lot of time because they're deserving of it, But one thing I want to note on, at the end of the match, we saw Sasha on the outside of the ring, and we could see her lip was busted, all right? And I didn't see the part where Sasha got her lip busted. It was either by Charlotte or Becky. I think it was on Charlotte, but Charlotte did the moonsault. I hate Charlotte's moonsault. It's one of the worst ever. Lacey Evans, who you guys know I hate, has a better moonsault than Charlotte. But Sasha had a busted lip. One thing I hate is, no one mentioned this on social media. No one mentioned on social media how Sasha had a busted lip. This is actually the second time in the last couple of weeks that we've seen Sasha with, a busted lip. She actually sustained it a couple of weeks ago, I think in the Madison Square Garden tag team match. All right. We also know Charlotte broke Sasha's nose a couple years ago during their feud. Sasha has a broken nose, which she says he probably won't be able to get fixed until once she retires. You know, but I just hate because if when Sasha, when Paige got hurt in that live event against Sasha, and then any time, if Sasha was to hurt or if Sasha was to accidentally injure somebody in the ring, everybody would get on Sasha. But I see when Sasha gets injured, no one says a damn thing. No one says anything. That shows me, I think there's a little bit of underlying racism, underlying sexism there, but I'm not gonna get into that really. I just wish that, if Sasha was to injure someone, everyone would be talking about it. People would be, oh, Sasha's such a botch, this and that, but when Sasha gets hurt, no one mentions it. But, it's whatever. But, one thing I don't like is, honestly, the way I would have had this match in, I would have just had it end in a brawl. But I know one thing is Fox wants more conclusive finishes on WWE TV. There was several moments throughout the night where some of these matches should have got called for disqualifications, but it seems like WWE is trying to give more conclusive finishes than less fuck finishes, less disqualifications and stuff. So I understand why. But the thing is, Sasha and Bayley, they're supposed to have more chemistry than any team in the women's division. But yet, most of the time, they're made to look weak or look less than what they're supposed to. Charlotte and Becky are the team, all right? But yes, this is the second time we've seen Charlotte and Becky beat Sasha and Bayley. All right, and basically, the way the match ended was almost the same way the match in Madison Square Garden ended. Charlotte made Bayley tap out with the figure four, so that would definitely set Charlotte up for another opportunity against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I can definitely see that being added to the card for Sunday. But yeah, basically that's the way this match ended. Charlotte's officially a babyface now. You can tell Charlotte's officially been turned back into a babyface. I don't like it because Charlotte should honestly, she works better as a heel. And the way I see it is, I see Becky. I think most people have Sasha winning this Sunday. Sasha taking the Raw with Championship from Becky. I think Becky's gonna get moved to SmackDown. Probably be one of the faces of the SmackDown Women's Division. And I think they're gonna set up a feud between a heel Bayley and a babyface Becky. Where does that lead Sasha? I think most likely Charlotte's gonna, and I hope not, but it would make the most sense if you're gonna make Becky be moved to SmackDown. It would make the most sense for Charlotte to be moved to Raw to feud with Sasha. Have two of the four horsewomen on each show. You know, if by some miracle they keep Charlotte on SmackDown, then you're gonna have to put a lot of, female talent on Raw to keep the Raw Women's Division looking, at least decent. I'm talking about people like Asuka, Kairi Sane, maybe move up somebody like Bianca Belair from NXT, but we'll have to wait and see until the draft happens in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Sasha versus Becky is going to be absolute hype. Like I said, that's match of the year capability if given the time and the right story at Hell in a Cell. I don't agree really with Charlotte and Becky defeating Sasha and Bayley, but at the end of the day, it's whatever. I don't really care as long as Sasha wins on Sunday. Alright, so moving on, we had Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which was being advertised as a champion versus champion match. And you guys know my feelings on Seth Rollins, the way he's been portrayed as the Universal Champion, as a babyface mainly, and how Bray has to take the Universal Championship off of him. Like I've been saying, and I'm going to speak into existence. Hell in a Cell needs to establish Sasha Banks and Bray Wyatt as the faces of Monday Night Raw going forward into WrestleMania season. All right, we need a walkout of Hell in a Cell with Sasha as the Rollins champion and Bray Wyatt as the Universal champion as the main faces of Monday Night Raw going forward. And Bray Wyatt tonight, he did another episode of the Firefly Funhouse. Absolutely love the Firefly Funhouse. All right. Basically, this one was mainly about Bray giving Seth a preview of what's going to happen at Hell in a Cell. And we see Ribbing Rabbit, he gets killed or destroyed on every episode of the Firefly Funhouse. Just like maybe the fourth or fifth time now he's been destroyed in the episode. It's pretty hilarious. It's become a gimmick, staple of the show in some shorts. But we see Ribbing Rabbit. He's dressed as Seth Rollins. Right? He had like the beard, the hair, and everything. He had like a little burdened down shirt, and then he was trying to talk to Seth, who was in the ring waiting for his match with Shinsuke. Um, we see basically Bray sets up a mini cage, and we see Mercy the Buzzer being the Fiend, and we see Ribbing Rabbit as Seth. And it was graphic in a way. We see Mercy the Buzzard absolutely does beating the crap out of Ribbing Rabbit. You guys gotta remember, these are basically puppets at the end of the day. Basically chewing up Ribbing Rabbit, and we see Ribbing Rabbit's parts of his body flying everywhere, and then afterwards we see Bray take what's left of Ribbing Rabbit, and he basically says, "See you in hell." All right. And basically, that was another episode of the Firefly Funhouse. I love the Firefly Funhouse. I love them. They're unique. They're creative. And I can't wait to see what else they have planned once Bray becomes WWE Universal Champion. But getting into Shinsuke versus Seth, this match really didn't. It wasn't really. I didn't care about this match at all. This match did not go on long. It went maybe 3-4 minutes max. It was a very quick match. And I don't think it had a conclusive finish. All we saw is near the end of the match, I think Seth was setting up for the curb stomp. We see the lights go off, which means Bray, the Fiend, was about to attack. And basically, we see Seth, he tried to exit the ring. He tried to run away from the Fiend. But the Fiend attacked him from behind, putting him back into the mandible claw again. And then he basically took Seth to the top of the stage and then threw him off the stage. All right, threw him off the stage to the ground. And basically, there's no way the Fiend is not winning at Hell in a Cell. My problem with this though is, and I said this in my Monday Night Raw review, basically what we saw tonight with the Fiend, we've seen the last 4 weeks. They've done the same attack the last 4 weeks with the Fiend and Seth Rollins. No matter if it was the Fiend, attacking Seth at Clash of Champions, no matter if it was the Fiend attacking Bray Wyatt, not Bray Wyatt, attacking Braun Strowman or Kane, like he's done the last couple weeks. The way they've done these attacks is the same way. And like I said, right now the Fiend is the most over thing in the entire WWE main roster. He's the most over thing in the company right now. Right? Everybody's behind Bray Wyatt. From merchandise to, WWE 2K, how he's being promoted for the new 2K20 video game. Basically, everybody's talking about the Fiend. All right, and we all know he has to win the Universal Champion. Even though WWE wants Bray to be a heel, everyone knows going in the Clash of Champions, everyone knows Bray's gonna be cheered as a babyface and Seth's gonna be the heel. We all know that. There's no doubt in our minds, no doubt. But the thing about it is, when you're doing the same attack every single week, and I'm not talking about the Firefly Funhouse. The Firefly Funhouse episodes are amazing, all right. But when you do the same attack every single week, eventually people are gonna get tired of it. It's gonna get stale, all right. And I don't like that. WWE's gonna have to find, other ways to have the Fiend do his thing, all right. And he can't do the same attack each and every single week because it's going to get stale, it's going to get repetitive, it's going to get boring. Alright? Also, WWE has given you no hope that Seth Rollins is going to win this Sunday. No hope. Seth Rollins has had no momentum built up against Bray Wyatt. And I don't really care because Seth, as a babyface Universal Champion, has been cringe, and I can't wait for him to get the title off him. I really think Seth needs a heel turn, you know. And, there are rumors saying Seth might be sent to SmackDown to be with Becky Lynch. I don't know if they're going to do that because you already have Roman Reigns over there, and you need, you know, I feel like WWE is going to put a lot of their stars on SmackDown since SmackDown's going to be looked at as the new A show on the main roster. So I don't know, Seth's going to be needed on Raw. So unless you're going to build AJ Styles back up, to be one of the faces of Raw to challenge Bray Wyatt. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But overall, the Firefly Funhouse episode was fun. I just don't like how they're doing the Fiend attacks, doing the same attack every single week. All right, next up we had Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon in a ladder match. Um, Loser would be terminated from WWE. And I feel like most of us knew that Kevin Owens was going to win this match just because Kevin Owens just re-signed with WWE for like 5 years, last year. So, there was no chance that Kevin Owens was going to lose this match. But this was a way to finally get Shane McMahon off television. Will he be off television for the long term? I don't believe that because it's Shane McMahon. They always find a way to get the McMahons. We might see Shane gone for now, but somehow, some way, Shane will get back on WWE TV. I'm not talking about now. We may see Shane gone till, for the rest of the year. Maybe Shane comes back around WrestleMania season, but they never stay truly gone. Shane McMahon will be back on WWE TV. In terms of the match, this was very, this was a very high action match. There was a lot of big spots. We saw Shane do his normal stuff. He jumped off the top rope, and did the elbow drop on Kevin Owens through the announce table. He also did the coast to coast, but he did it with a ladder bridge. With the ladder up against Owens. We saw Owens do a frog splash to the outside with McMahon laid across a ladder. So this was very, very fast action. One thing that I didn't like, and I don't know, I feel like Fox is gonna have to find something to fix this, is too many commercials. Way too many commercials, man. Especially in matches this big, like a ladder match where the loser gets fired. The crowd was behind it. I felt like the match could have been a little bit better, even though it was very fast action. The tempo was very up, but it wasn't bad. I felt like I said, it could have been a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I really didn't even care about this feud. This feud should have ended at SummerSlam. The fact that WWE kept going with this feud, you know, disappointing. But Owens won, and after he did Vince McMahon's famous line, he says, "You're fired of Shade," and then hits him with one more stutter out the door. So Owens wins this permanently, for now at least, permanently gets Shane McMahon off WWE TV. So I don't really want to talk about this. There was a 4v4 tag team match. Heavy Machinery, Braun Strowman, and The Miz going up against Randy Orton, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and AJ Styles. And I hated this. This was a short match. I really hated this. Really, all this was a bunch of all these superstars performing their finishers on each other. And then Braun Strowman destroyed most of the heels. He hit the running power slam on Ziggler, and he got the victory for his team. But I did not enjoy it. I was like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Right? It's supposed to be a new era on Fox, and you want to make SmackDown Fox look important, but stuff like this, garbage 8-man tag team matches that do nothing in the grand scheme of things, do absolutely nothing, but you're putting them on the show. For what? For what? Absolute garbage. Garbage. No one wants to see that at all. But the biggest thing from outside this match, we saw during the match, Strowman, he basically teased a boxing match with Tyson Fury. You guys know the famous martial arts champion. But he teased a boxing match with Tyson Fury and Tyson Fury got out of his seat, and he teased it too. He put the gloves, he put his hands up like him and Strowman were about to fight. It looked playful at first, but afterwards we see Ziggler attack Strowman, and then Strowman whipped um whipped Ziggler into the barricade, and it looked like part of Ziggler actually hit Fury, who was still standing up. Fury falls back into his chair, and after the match, we see Fury jump the barricade. He actually jumps the barricade. It reminded me a little bit of when Rob Gronkowski jumped the barricade a couple years ago at WrestleMania to help Mojo Rawley defeat Jinder Mahal in that Battle Royal. But we see Fury jump the barricade. A bunch of WWE security guards stop him. It took like 10 people to actually stop him. And Fury probably could have broke out of it if he really wanted to. But we see, we saw CAIN VELASQUEZ from UFC, the former UFC champion. We saw Tyson Fury, the boxing champion tonight. And, we're seeing it seems like a lot of mixed martial artists, coming WWE's way. We've also heard rumors that Conor McGregor might want to one day come to WWE. Remember, we had Ronda Rousey, the biggest name ever, come to WWE. I hope Ronda Rousey does come back to WWE one day. But yeah, as you guys can see, this is what they're doing. I don't know what this means. They're actually gonna do a match with Strowman and Fury. I'm not interested in that whatsoever, just because I'm so over Strowman and these gimmick matches. Like, no, I don't really want to see that. But I definitely see them doing Strowman versus CAIN VELASQUEZ in the next couple months, especially now with CAIN VELASQUEZ making his debut tonight, because I think Strowman's going to be moved to SmackDown in the draft. That's one of my predictions. And just want to let you guys know, next week we will be doing a mock WWE draft. Uh, but yeah, honestly, I found this thing going to be garbage. Honestly, I'm not interested in Tyson Fury versus Strowman. Tyson Fury coming to WWE just like CAIN VELASQUEZ. Yes, it could be interesting, but Strowman versus Fury specifically, no, I couldn't care less. Um, After this, we had a lumberjack match between Reigns versus Eric Rowan. This match was garbage as well. I did not care for this match whatsoever. We saw Eric Rowan beating up a bunch of the lumberjacks on the outside. We see Roman Reigns, jump over the top rope, flying to take out Rowan along with all the other lumberjacks. We saw Luke Harper get involved, and Luke Harper attacked a bunch of the lumberjacks, and he also tried to attack Roman Reigns. But we saw Daniel Bryan get involved, and it's official. Daniel Bryan is back as a babyface. We saw Daniel Bryan telling the crowd to do the yes chants. So it seems like the yes movement is making the return. Daniel Bryan is officially back as a baby face. But we see Rowan try to attack Daniel Bryan, and we see from behind, we see Reigns hit Rowan with the spear. So we're gonna see, remember, we're gonna see Reigns, Bryan going up against Harper and Rowan this Sunday. It's gonna be very interesting to see what direction WWE goes with that. JD was talking about potentially seeing the Usos return. The Usos were supposed to return tonight. I didn't see them on the card at all. I don't even think they were at ringside for the lumberjack match. But there are rumors saying WWE could be potentially thinking about turning Bryan back into a heel. Saying that this babyface turn for Bryan could be temporary, and maybe they're setting up for potentially at Survivor Series. It could be the Usos and Roman Reigns versus Bryan, Harper, and Rowan, which I think that's the direction they should go to with. But we'll have to wait and see, because the way WWE is set right now, they still have plans to do Bryan versus Reigns at some point. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see what they have planned this Sunday. I think, I'm not really that interested in Reigns and Bryan going up against Harper and Rowan. I don't really care about this storyline. But, the potential of, making a stable between Harper, Rowan, and Bryan, turning Bryan back into a heel, getting the Usos involved, that could be very interesting. We'll have to wait and see until this Sunday. And last but not least, I already ranted on it at the beginning of the podcast. CAIN VELASQUEZ makes his WWE debut tonight. You know, we had Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, where they absolutely buried Kofi Kingston in 5 seconds. Absolute garbage. Kofi did not deserve that. He deserves an actual match with Lesnar. He deserved that. All right, even if the match was 5 minutes, you know, I would have rather have had that than have Lesnar bury Kofi in 5 seconds. That's not fair to Kofi. That's not fair to what he's done as WWE champion. Kofi made a difference as WWE champion, man. He was looked as an inspiration, man. And a lot of people are actually looking forward to this match. We thought Kofi and Brock could actually have a really good match tonight, and you know WWE just absolutely put all that, you know. And I don't know. I just really don't want to talk about it no more. But after the match, you know, Lesnar started, we see CAIN VELASQUEZ come out with Rey Mysterio, and we see CAIN VELASQUEZ takes down Lesnar and actually starts hitting him with body shots. Lesnar left the ring, but it looked like Lesnar was going to come back to fight CAIN VELASQUEZ again, but he backed out. So they'd be teasing, you know, CAIN VELASQUEZ versus Brock Lesnar. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. You know, like I said, WWE, you know, we're not going to see Lesnar at Hell in a Cell, all right, unless it's like last minute. But I don't think we'll see Lesnar at Hell in a Cell. Um, well, you know, especially then we have Crown Jewel coming up in a couple weeks, and then we have Survivor Series. So it might be a while till we actually see Lesnar and CAIN VELASQUEZ going up against one another. Also, you know, Kofi Kingston could get a rematch, even though I don't want to see a rematch after the way they treated Kofi tonight. And then we also have, you know, Rey Mysterio and Dominic in the background, because you know eventually Mysterio and Dominic are going to want to get their payback on Lesnar. But other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today, man. SmackDown Fox, other than this, you know, the stage, the set, the presentation was great. You know, I enjoyed that part. It felt like a major sports broadcast. But in terms of the actual show itself, it was disappointing. It was disappointing. This was supposed to be a pay-per-view level show, and it, you know, underneath all the sports presentation, this felt like a normal SmackDown, and I don't like that. You know, I'm gonna wait till after the WWE draft to truly judge WWE. After we have the rosters and we know what WWE has going forward, that's when I'll actually start judging SmackDown on Fox for real. But honestly, I'm disappointed with SmackDown Fox's debut tonight. It could have been a lot better. But that's about all I got for you guys today. Just quick couple announcements, like always. This Sunday, Hell in a Cell live stream. I'll have live reactions to the show, and I'll have a live review of the show once the show goes off the air. Also, Saturdays, I should have the Hell in a Cell preview and predictions up. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys can later this afternoon. Next week, we're going to have our Raw review. We're going to have AEW and NXT again. We're also going to have a mock WWE draft. I also might do a Kofi Kingston video looking back at Kofi's WWE Championship reign. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to follow me on social media. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. As always, thanks for the support. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, guys. Peace.